I'm in two minds. Part of me is like, oh great, I made something that is successful in terms of views and in terms of provoking a discussion. But another part of me is like, oh, I'm filming this on the 17th of November. The video I posted a couple days ago, that video has blown up. I've had some interesting reactions to it, and I appreciate that. And I mean, I did ask in the comments, I did say, what's your opinion? But I just thought this could be an interesting moment, and so I wanted to make this video talking about what it's like to have a video blow up, how I got to this idea, what I think I'm gonna do next. Is this a safe space? Are we alone? Hopefully we can just have a nice chat, you and I. I'm guessing if you're watching this, you're interested, so I feel like I can be honest. I can be honest here. There were some very thoughtful responses to that video, which I really appreciated. I really liked reading. That was what I'd been hoping for people to watch, not all of the video, but like to watch a decent chunk of the video to respond to the points that I was making. That was my goal. And thankfully, yeah, a lot of people did do that. People were respectful, even if people were disagreeing, even if they said, I don't agree with all your points, they were still very respectful, and that for me is great. But there were quite a few comments also, which I guess is going to happen with anything that picks up a lot of traction. So the video has 1,500 views now, so that's quite a lot of people who have seen it. Yes, some of them will be interested, but some of them will also be acting in bad faith or won't be engaging with the actual content of the video. Will have just seen maybe the first minute or the first 30 seconds, will have seen the title, will have seen what other people have commented, and are just jumping straight in. And I just think it's funny. It's a funny reflection of what the video itself is about, because I'm saying, can we have an opinion if it's not informed? Do you have a kind of moral obligation to have an opinion? I mean, I guess it's maybe my fault because I didn't really define that clearly. I mean, in my head it was defined clearly, but define like the parameters of what we were going to discuss in that video. It was more just sort of like an open-ended discussion where I could bring in different points. So I could talk about the Dunning-Kruger effect. I could talk about social conditioning. I wanted to be able to talk about these things because they just go around my head every so often. I think about like the hierarchy of competence. I was like, this would be a great opportunity to talk about this topic and to bring those things in. But a lot of people aren't engaging with those issues and are just like piling on about whatever they think. And part of me is like, is this my fault? Because I did make the thumbnail deliberately quite controversial. So I do think maybe I brought this on myself. But I was ideally wanting like a really thoughtful, reflective, level-headed viewer. And I did definitely get some of those. So I am glad, and I don't want to let the bad comments overshadow the good ones. There's one comment where someone was talking about how they have such a limited time, so they're not going to educate themselves, or they don't want to learn about whatever. And I'm like, if you have such a limited time, which is completely valid because you don't know what other people are dealing with, or how much they have to work, or what they have to do with their family, or what their situation is. Like, we have no idea. But if you have such limited time, why are you watching a video that I made that is clearly irritating you? And then why are you spending that time, investing that time into writing a comment? Like, yes, it doesn't take that long to comment, but I just find it incoherent. Not incoherent, it just doesn't make sense. Illogical, I'm not sure what the word is. It's those kind of comments where I'm like, this video isn't for you, it's about you. The fact that some people are in the comments missing the point of the video is kind of to be expected, but it's also maybe proving the point that I'm making in the video about how we do have an unconscious bias that we're not really aware of. We do have that unconscious incompetence. So I guess from that perspective, then it's quite good to have those negative comments. It at least makes it interesting. And I mean, if you're making people annoyed, you're saying something interesting as well. It's not boring. It's not something that everyone agrees with. The fact that people have an opinion, that means that maybe I'm doing something right. But I don't know if I want to be that controversial because, I think as it stands now, I have 13 dislikes on that video. Up till this point, generally speaking, I'll get like 1 or 2 dislikes, but normally it's like 100% likes because I'm not really saying anything that controversial. I'm just sort of like giving mindset tips or whatever. So people, if they don't like it, they'll just stop watching. Like, they're not filled with like hate or any kind of bad emotion and thinking like, I'm going to dislike this video. And like, I don't really care. I just think it's interesting, but I also don't know how sustainable it is to carry on making that kind of video where it is controversial and where it is attracting an audience, which I don't really want to attract. There's a bit in one of James Acaster's specials, Cold Lasagna, Hate Myself 1999, which is brilliant, and I recommend you watch it because it's really like incisive and funny and thought-provoking. But there's a bit where he says, I've attracted a demographic which, to be frank, I hate.
I effing Jeff that much, and as a result, I've attracted a demographic who, to be frank, I hate.
And I was looking at the analytics for my recent video and it was like 87% men, and that's not the demographic that I want to be attracting. Can we all remember there's nuance, and I'm not going to cover every single point, and you can take anything out of context, but I'm speaking in good faith here, and I'm hoping that people are going to hear what I have to say in good faith. And if you're going to take stuff out of context in bad faith, then your point isn't really relevant. My target audience is myself, basically, like people like me who are thoughtful, who are interested, who are asking the questions of why, who want to understand why things are a certain way, why we think a certain way, what can we do to change how we are now. That is my target audience. And because I'm a woman, I feel like I'd be wanting to speak to other women because that's my lived experience. That's who I feel most comfortable talking to. And I guess up to this point, you know, if I've been talking about mindset stuff and journaling, and if you look at the thumbnails I've made, like, it's very clear I'm in the thumbnail, so you can see straight away this is going to be a video talking about journaling, or this is going to be a video talking about uncertainty, and it's me, a woman, speaking about this stuff. So maybe I didn't do a good enough job in the thumbnails of my recent videos in terms of like repelling a certain audience. People talk about, like, I think it's Catherine Manning has said, because I love her videos, she said, like, your vibe attracts your tribe. And I'm just wondering if this like controversial, confrontational, but see, I don't think I was like confrontational. I wanted to be thoughtful, but even so, I clearly have attracted some people on those videos because of the topics. You know, if it's more political, then people are going to have an opinion or be more vocal about their opinion. You know, if you don't like a journaling video that I do, you're probably not going to get really het up about it. You're probably just going to be like, oh, I'm not interested in this, or this is boring, or this is not for me, and just like leave. You're not going to be like, dislike, angry comment. But the point I'm trying to make is that I don't know if I like this audience that I've attracted. That's why I was saying, like, is this a safe space? If you are here, I'm guessing that you understand nuance. I'm just saying that I feel most comfortable speaking to a specific group of people. Also, I want to like empower other women to speak about things, which is why I very deliberately in my You Have a Voice Use It video used all female public figures in the thumbnail, because I was like, I want this, even if I'm not in it, my face, like my picture is not included in that thumbnail. I was like, I want it to be clear that we're talking about how different women are reacting to this. We're doing it from that perspective. And like, I didn't really talk about gender inequality. Well, I mentioned a bit about my cousin's patriarchal reaction to Barbie, but I didn't really go into it in that much detail. At least there was very aware of like, this is the kind of audience that I want. Whereas with the most recent video I've done, I used a Dan Coe quote. Like, I can see why it would be more men watching that kind of video, but I'm not really sure if that's the direction I want to go. But then I do like talking about, I liked making that video. I don't so much like dealing with the aftermath of all of the negative comments. It's not like I view them as any kind of personal attack, because I don't care. It's more just like realizing that the point can go over someone's head and they still can have a very vocal opinion. If you have a YouTube channel of your own, you'll know what I mean. But in the YouTube studio, if there are comments that you don't reply to, those comments are always there. They keep popping up. So like, anytime I go in onto my studio to check like my analytics, or I just want to see which videos are doing well, the comments that you don't answer are the ones that you see. I answered a lot of the comments from that video. The good faith ones, the ones that were thoughtful, maybe they actually watched a chunk of the video, were commenting on something that I'd said, because I was like, well, they've watched it in good faith, they're engaging, they are being respectful, like they're saying they disagree, like they're not being attacking. They clearly also don't have like a victim complex or anything, like they're just trying to engage with the issues. It's not like getting personal on my end or on their end. So for those comments, I respond, because I was like, oh, this is great, this is what I wanted to have like a thoughtful exchange about the stuff in the video. But for any of the bad faith comments, like for example, I got one that was like, depression's not an excuse, you need to educate yourself, and I was like, that is completely in bad faith, because I didn't say that in the video. They're just taking what I said out of context, and they're clearly like a new viewer to my channel, because I've talked about mental health before on my channel. Because I'm not replying to those bad faith comments, those comments are then popping up constantly on my studio, because I've not replied to them, because I'm not going to engage with someone who is engaging in bad faith. Like, I'm just not going to feed into that, because nothing good will come of it. I'm not going to change their mind. I'm not going to have a thoughtful exchange. It's just going to be like validating their point, and I just don't want to do that. So those comments are always the one I see. So it's just like, do I want to carry on with this? Like, I enjoy making those videos and talking about those topics and bringing in like philosophy and politics and current affairs. This is all stuff I think about all the time. But like, do I want that kind of combative audience who are going to be in the comments then saying stuff that I don't want to respond to, and then those comments are going to stay on my studio, right? And I don't want to delete them because then people are like, oh, that's censorship, although part of me is like, well, it is my channel, and if I don't like what you're saying, and if it's like, I did delete some comments because I was like, this is like inappropriate or offensive, like no, this doesn't have, I don't have to leave this up for everyone to see. But some of them I'm like, yeah, I may not agree with what this person said, but like, yeah, I'll leave that comment. So it's not that I want to just delete them and get rid of them so I don't see them, but it's just whether I'm comfortable with doing that going forward. I was watching a Nate Black video recently where he talked about a formula to create viral videos. It's a SEAS formula, that's the acronym for it, because the words are spreadability, excitement, audience match, and simplicity. Maybe one of the reasons that most recent video has blown up is because it does fulfill some of those requirements. So spreadability, it's quite a broad topic, which I think could appeal to quite a few people, like different kinds of people. I looked at some of the people who commented. I would go on their channels and like see like playlists that they made, or if they have their own channel, like the content that they're making. It's very varied. So spreadability wise, I feel like I was appealing to a big number of people with that idea for that video. Excitement, yeah, I was really enthusiastic about making that video. I felt really passionate about it, and I was interested to see what people thought. So that maybe came across in the way that I was presenting, you know, the fact that I'm actually really interested in what I'm talking about. Audience match, this is where it maybe wasn't great, but again, because of that spreadability factor, that is why I think a lot of people watched it. And then simplicity, yeah, the thumbnail's quite simple and the topic is not simple. I guess it is like the summary, the title is simple. It's an easy thing for you to look at and straight away think, I'm interested or I'm not interested, which is, I think, what I'm learning you have to do if you want to get people's attention. You don't want something like a long title. I know some people like Catherine Manning talk about like long tail keywords or using all of the 100 characters in your title. And I think that would work if you're targeting search, but most of my views come from browse, so from my videos appearing on people's homepages or being suggested. At least for what the content that I've been making over the past few months, what's worked is a very simple idea and not very many words. So like, enter your discipline era and form healthy habits. That's like not a very long title. You have a voice, use it. YouTube changed my life in a year with less than 1,000 subscribers. Like, that is more. Even that one sounds too long. If you wanted to recreate some of this success for yourself, I mean, we've talked about like most of the cons already in terms of the kind of audience that you're going to attract if you do decide to do like a controversial topic or something that maybe appeals to a broader audience. So I feel like we've been through the cons, you know what you're getting yourself into. These are the reasons why I think that this video was able to spread. I think I did a good job with the thumbnail and that it is quite provocative. It's quite simple. I didn't add any text to it aside from the photos of the text. It's the contrast between the background photos of the explosions and then the headline. So it's very simple. I think even just looking at the thumbnail, you might be like, what's this about? It might be interesting. You can see the length of time, obviously, so you can see that this is like an in-depth 28-minute video about this topic, so that might appeal to some people. Other people, it would probably be the opposite, like they see it's 28 minutes, they're like, no. So I guess in that sense, you are or are not attracting a different audience, so that's always something to be aware of. Like, does the length of my video match what the video is? Like, if I were to post that exact same video, but it only be 3 minutes long, I don't know how well that would do. I'm not sure. The content has to fit the length. It doesn't matter if your video is like an hour long or 3 minutes long. It's what is the best for that particular topic. I think asking a question was maybe also a good move. So having the title be a question because it implies an answer. I've been thinking in a similar way because of this job I've been doing. One of the like tasks I have to do in the job is to make infographics. So I'm thinking about how is a reader approaching this infographic and how can I give them just enough information that they're interested in, that they can understand, but not so much information that they have all of it and they don't need to then click on the infographic, because the idea is they see the infographic with some information and they click on it and it goes to the website and then they can read the full article. I've been applying that same thing to the last few videos that I've been doing in terms of like asking a question or trying to show a little bit of what the video is about, but not like revealing all of it and like creating intrigue, which I'd already known that you were supposed to do that with your thumbnail and with your title and with your topic in general, I guess, but I just had never really understood how to apply it. I'm just sort of like going with the flow in terms of what I'm doing with YouTube. I would love it if I could get my channel monetized. I have put a lot of work into it, but I also know that hard work doesn't entitle you to anything. You've got to create something of value that people actually want to see. So I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just sort of like being guided by what I feel like creating, because then I feel like my interest is then going to come across in that. And I'm kind of taking a page out of some of my favorite YouTubers. Like, it's interesting because some of them that I like, they are very much like always on topic. Like, they are always very in their niche and you would never see a video outside of their niche on their channel. And then there are other people like Lynette Adkins or Bria Jones who they kind of are the niche themselves. Like Lynette Adkins, she will just post about what's going on. Like, she'll post like how to be a content creator, then she'll do like a get ready with me, she'll do a like whole series when she was traveling. She's like all over the place and I love that. I'm like, I don't want to be talking about the same thing, but then it's like, what does your audience want from you? Which is what you have to think about, because obviously I'm making this video for someone, for you who is watching. If I was just making the video for myself as like a video diary, I wouldn't be publishing it. I wouldn't have to like edit it so much, or it would just be a different kind of video if I was not making it with an audience in mind. But I really subscribe to, I would love if I could build a platform where I can just talk about whatever is relevant. So at the moment, I do feel really passionate about talking about these political issues or bringing in like different philosophy or different psychology things like we talked about with social conditioning. I would love to be able to talk about that for a bit, talk about propaganda, talk about media literacy, and then however long, I might suddenly decide I love reading again and want to be doing book reviews. But I don't know how realistic it is to expect an audience to just like zigzag and be like, yeah, we're with you wherever. But I do also really like Bria Jones's philosophy, I guess. In one of her videos, she talks about how she really grew her channel, and she says this:
people don't necessarily need to follow you for one thing. I don't think you're a niche. You're a person.
And that's kind of how I feel. Like, I did my dream self diaries and I want to continue doing that because I really loved those videos and I thought that's what my channel was going to be for a while, but then I just didn't really feel like making them anymore. Like, it didn't feel appropriate to the way that, it sounds so dramatic, but like in my soul, like it didn't feel right for me to just be like, hey, journaling prompts. Like I was like, no, I feel like I have other more important things to say. Like, journaling is really important, and I mean, I've been outlining recently like a 30 morning journaling prompts. Those journaling videos will get new viewers who are interested in journaling the same way that I'm getting new viewers on my more political videos, new viewers who are interested in politics. So I feel like it's going okay. That was a whole like side rant about where my channel is going. What else did I think made that video successful? I think using a current event or a current debate that people are having or questions people are asking, using that as like a springboard for discussion. I always felt like that was cheating. Like, I was aware that I could do that, but it always felt like I was not then coming up with an idea myself. But it's like, no, I can use Selena Gomez's Instagram stories or Selena Gomez's reaction to something, and I can use that as a springboard to then talk about if we have a responsibility to use our voice, if we have a platform. It might feel a bit strange. You might feel like you're selling out or something, or like me, you might feel like you're somehow cheating because you're like, well, of course people are going to be more interested in a video that has like Bella Hadid or Selena Gomez in the thumbnail than just a video that's me being like, hey, let's talk about if we have a social responsibility to speak up when bad things are happening. But Stephanie Lang does videos like that, and I love those videos where she will use celebrities in the thumbnail. She will talk about body image and about like plastic surgery or about Instagram, about Photoshop, about Facetune, all of this stuff, and she'll use like Kim Kardashian or Gigi Hadid or Kendall Jenner in the thumbnail. So like, that's a recognizable face. I mean, she's also got a massive channel, so I don't think she necessarily would need to leverage the recognizability of different celebrities in order to have people interested in her videos, but like it clearly does. It's something that works. I think having a genuine interest in the topic also hopefully came across. I mean, I don't make videos about anything that I'm not interested in. Like, I don't think I've ever made a video just because I'm like, oh, this would be a successful video. But I think because I had a lot of interest in those to media videos that I've put out, or like political videos that I've put out, I did a lot of research about them. I, really carefully ordered what I was going to say. I was just really interested about it. And then as I was saying it, like as I'm presenting it, I'm interested in it. So I think that comes across. People can pick up on that. I was not expecting this to be so long. This has just been like little chat. My tea is now cold, obviously. From an analytical viewpoint, sitting down so long is uncomfortable. 1,500 views. I think I've got 11 new subscribers from that video. 82 hours of watch time. Just from an analytical point of view. 20-something thousand impressions. 4.6% click-through rate. I'm in two minds. Part of me is like, oh great, I made something that is successful in terms of views and in terms of provoking a discussion, but another part of me is like, oh, that James Acaster quote, I've attracted a demographic who quite frankly I hate. So I hope you've enjoyed this little video where I got real about how I feel about this video doing well, because I've had videos that blew up before, like my John Mulaney video did well, my Change Your Life by Focusing on the Little Things did well, but there wasn't really much controversy around them. Maybe I need to do a more John Mulaney style one where it's like commenting on something that only people who know about it will care. Whereas the political ones, I've got all kinds of people who are like proud of the fact that they don't care. I'm like, this video isn't for you then. It's not for you, it's about you. I am happy we have had this chat, and I hope something I've shared has been of use to you if you're trying to grow your own YouTube channel or thinking about starting a YouTube channel, or if you're just interested in YouTube and in about hearing of how it's going. Please comment below your thoughts. Do you follow someone because you like how they talk about a specific topic? Or are you more of the Bria Jones school of thought where you're like, I follow someone because I like them, or I like their content, I like something about their editing or something about the way they talk about the world, and so you don't really mind what they post, you just follow them for them? Because I would love to know what you think. It would be nice to have like some feedback. Hello, I wanted to just do an update basically from what I said in the previous part of the video where I was talking all about that Is It Okay Not to Have an Opinion video that I made. I've since published 2 videos, which I was really proud of and I put a lot of work into, and I am in two minds. You can see they've not performed half as well as Is It Okay Not to Have an Opinion. And so I just wanted to talk about that because you might have listened to what I said in the beginning half of the video and be like, well, you clearly didn't learn anything, because the other videos that I've published after that one have not performed so well. Partly that was deliberate. I did talk about how having a controversial video is great in terms of getting eyes on your channel, but there were also parts of it that I really didn't like in terms of attracting a certain audience. In that sense, I am quite glad that the videos have stayed quite small because they've only been really showed to my existing audience, so people who've already seen my content before. But yeah, it's disappointing because those videos take a lot of editing. If you've watched them, there's a lot happening, and I'm making something to share with people. Like, this isn't just for me. I do get something out of it because I really enjoyed, for example, the last 2 videos about propaganda. I really enjoyed making those videos, so it was an interesting experience for me to create it, but I'm not just making them for me, otherwise I wouldn't be publishing them online. So it is a bit disappointing in that regard. The most recent one only has 30 views, which even before this big video, the Is It Okay Not to Have an Opinion, even before that, 30 views is very low for my channel. And I kind of get why, because looking at the thumbnail, I know it makes sense when you've watched the video, the images that I picked for the thumbnail, but I guess it's not very interesting, or people don't really care about it if they haven't watched the video. So I've not really done a good job on the thumbnail there. It's difficult. I was watching Bria Jones's most recent video, I think it might be her most recent video, where she talks about how to grow on YouTube, and she says that for such a long time she had 200 views on her videos, and then her channel blew up, and then all of her videos went viral. So now if you look back on her channel, all of her videos have lots of views, but it wasn't always that way. I don't know why I'm saying that. I guess maybe I hope that because I'm carrying on with this and I really enjoy it, this isn't anything new to me to not have very many views. If you look back at my really old videos, like it's disappointing, but it's also like, well, not everyone is gonna like everything. Hearing Bria Jones say that was quite heartening, because I was like, oh, I'm gonna carry on doing this anyway. Yes, right now it hurts the most because at this point in time now, I am most aware of how much work I put into those videos and how much time I put into those videos. So it hurts to then see those videos not appealing to any kind of audience, because I am very aware now of how much time I put into them. Whereas if something happens in the future, if my channel gets bigger and people start to revisit some older videos, I'm not going to remember exactly how much time I put into those older videos. So it hurts the most now, but I just have to hope that maybe something happens, or maybe this was just like the right people saw those videos and it was just going to be a small viewership. Like, that doesn't have to be a bad thing either. It just, I felt I had to add this on at the end just because it seems like I learned so many lessons, or I'm saying like, oh, this is why this video did well. And then I kind of took some similar elements of that and applied it to the videos that came after, and they didn't do so well. So then it just sort of looks like I have no idea what I'm doing, which, to be fair, is true. A lot of this does feel random, and I'm not saying that to say like, oh, I just have to carry on doing what I'm doing. Like, there's no responsibility for me here. There's nothing I can do. It's just random. I don't mean it like that. It's just, I'm still learning. And you see this even with bigger channels who normally get like, maybe they normally get 40,000 views and then they post one, and even after a month, it's only got 10,000 views only. You can't always be creating something hoping that it's gonna blow up. Like, you have to be creating something because you want to say it. So I'm still really proud of those videos, even if they clearly didn't resonate with people. Please let me know your thoughts. Are you also someone who has a YouTube channel and have been through this struggle of like, oh, I thought I'd figured it out, I thought I knew what I was doing, and then no, you don't? Please comment below your thoughts and your experiences. If you enjoyed this kind of video, please let me know as well in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. God bless, and I will see you in the next one.